Halloween, the spookiest time of year. A time when the leaves brush against the roads and sidewalks, and the chilling sounds of the wind fill an atmosphere occupied by carved pumpkins, hanging skeletons, and decorations fit for the season of all sizes and types. Some Halloween decorations are cute and innocent, such as these witch hats hanging from trees or ballooned characters gracing front lawns, while others can be more frightening and more elaborate, such as these animatronics and incredibly detailed graveyards. But imagine if one day you came across a Halloween decoration that looked so real. Perhaps a severed hand lying on someone's front yard that looked a little too realistic. Or what looks like someone's body wrapped in a garbage bag, even more convincingly than what you would usually see. You try to tell yourself that they are simply just Halloween decorations and nothing more, when eventually it was revealed that they were what you feared they were the entire time, and that what you saw was an actual dead body. Over the decades, this story has become an urban legend that has circulated like wildfire, whether popping up in the quiet recesses of small towns during the Halloween season or online forums across the internet. However, unlike the usual urban legend, which turns out to be false, the urban legend of the dead body mistaken for a Halloween decoration is actually true.
Sleeping in a motel bed that has a dead body underneath it.
The body of a young child was found buried in a fresh grave on Staten Island last night. It was a young girl.
It was a horrible place that New York State officials could neither defend nor explain away.
Halloween, a magical holiday defined by dressing up in costumes, children going trick-or-treating, and carved pumpkins outside of houses everywhere. It is a wonderful time of year where good old-fashioned creepy fun reigns supreme, and one of the best examples of this is the topic of Halloween decorations. For decades, Halloween decorations were actually much simpler, with the decorations really only being jack-o'-lanterns and classic Halloween cutouts outside of people's homes. Yet in recent years, the decorations have only become bigger and more elaborate, resulting in the rise of haunt displays. Well into the 21st century, haunt displays have come to dominate the Halloween decoration landscape, and range from being entertaining to eerily realistic. Some could take the form of graveyards, while others see large statues overlooking a front yard. But while the decorations are fun, enjoyable, and add a lot to the holiday, over the years, true stories have emerged that show a much darker side to Halloween decorations. In the middle of the state of Delaware is a small, unassuming patch of the country in the form of a town called Frederica. Though its founding dates all the way back to 1681, when construction of the town started along the interestingly named Murder Kill River, today, Frederica is simply a small town with a population of just over 1,000 people, and is equipped with both modern buildings and houses dating back to the 1700s, including this one. A relic of colonial America, Frederica also happens to be the home of ILC Dover, the company which manufactured the spacesuits for the Apollo mission astronauts during the 1960s and 70s. On the surface, and apart from experiencing yearly mosquito swarms because of the nearby marshes, Frederica is nothing but an ordinary town. But one incident, which occurred in the mid-2000s, has given Frederica, Delaware, a place in the history of the strange and the disturbing. On October 26, 2005, as the town of Frederica, Delaware, was preparing for the Halloween season, Frederica residents, while driving on a busy road within the town, found themselves amused, but unsettled, by an all-too-familiar Halloween decoration hanging above the ground. The infamous and controversial prop typically called the Hanging Man, commonly seen these days as being dressed up in a garbage bag. Except this time, the Frederica residents thought that all they were seeing was a Halloween prop that looked convincingly like a regular woman hanging from a rope. While many dismissed the apparent prop as just another Halloween decoration, perhaps one of bad taste, some grew incredibly suspicious, and the prop even caught the attention of the police, who, like the townspeople, thought nothing of it. However, after several hours had passed, an undisclosed person took the bold step to see if the hanging woman was a prop after all. And to their horror, they discovered that the prop had been a dead 42-year-old woman the entire time. The woman, whose identity has never been released to the public, as is common in such unfortunate cases, had been suspended in the air at a height of 15 feet from the moment of the tragic act to her discovery. Regarding the grisly discovery, the Delaware State Police issued a statement validating the discovery and its buildup by saying, "Neighbors said people noticed the body at breakfast time Wednesday, but dismissed it as a holiday prank." Since 2005, the dead woman's discovery has put a dark mark on the small town of Frederica, since every year, the memory of it lingers over the community like a dark cloud that only grows more haunting and mythic by the year. A dark tragedy that the community would much rather forget than continue remembering. Right after the incident was first reported, and despite the event actually happening, the general story of a dead body getting mistaken for a Halloween decoration started to spread online as though a campfire ghost story would have before the internet. But it was not before long when a similar tragedy would strike again. Just 4 years later, in October of 2009, in the coastal town of Marina del Rey, California, just an hour and a half west of the city of Los Angeles, residents of Marina del Rey made a horrific and heartbreaking discovery: the decomposing body of a 75-year-old man slumped on an apartment building balcony. Before it was confirmed to be a corpse, neighbors thought the lifeless body was just part of a Halloween display and thought nothing of it, and the police were never called. Unlike the 2005 Frederica victim, the identity of the person found deceased in the Californian case was released to the public: 75-year-old Mustafa Mahmoud Zayed. According to famed photojournalist Austin Rayshbrook, who would famously save a man from a burning car in Los Angeles in 2017, Rayshbrook, as one of the journalists at the crime scene, said that Zayed's lifeless body was slumped over on a chair on his apartment balcony on Bora Bora Way in Marina del Rey. In Rayshbrook's own words, the body was in plain view of the entire apartment complex, and they all didn't do anything. It's very strange. It did look unreal, to be honest. As reported by the Los Angeles Times article written right after the body's discovery and retrieval, an eerie stillness and sense of peace swept over the community. The neighbors and construction workers near the site simply moved on as though nothing happened, although with a sense of sadness, as neighbors recall the man as very kind. While many of such unfortunate cases are as a result of self-inflicted causes, others have murder factored into the equation. In mid-October 2015, in the town of Chillicothe in Ross County, Ohio, construction workers on a routine job noticed something unusual on a chain-linked fence nearby where they were working: what appeared to be a human body hanging off of it. Originally dismissed as a Halloween decoration by the construction workers, as well as a slew of town residents before then, what was thought to be a Halloween doll was found to be the body of 31-year-old Rebecca Cade, a woman with a history of drug abuse, but whose friends and family all unanimously said was a sweet soul, willing to help and assist anyone who needed help, and especially her friends. During the investigation, it was found that the night before her body's discovery, she had gotten into a fight with a man named Donnie Kokenhauer Jr., age 27. That night, Cade was running from him, but sadly got stuck on a chain-linked fence in the process, causing Kokenhauer to strike her head, causing her to lose her life as a result of blunt force trauma, with her neck also critically wounded. When her body was found the next morning, a resident named Tammy Dixon noted that she had looked so injured, bruised, and bloodied, she thought the body was a Halloween zombie decoration, and saying, quote, "It was straight out of a horror story," her left hand up. Strangely, while the police did say that Cade's murder was an isolated incident, many people in the community were not so sure upon hearing what the police had to say. In 2015, and even before then, 6 women living in the same town of Chillicothe had either gone missing or were found murdered. And when Cade's body was found, the mothers of those women that had gone missing or were murdered extended their support to Cade's family, such as Yvonne Boggs, the mother of Charlotte Trago, a woman that had gone missing a year earlier in 2014. Boggs said, "By the time this all ends, it will probably be connected in some way, shape, or form." As of 2025, Charlotte Trago is still missing despite a task force assigned to investigate her disappearance and the possible links to Cade's murder. Lastly, after Cade's body was found, Donnie Kokenhauer Jr. was quickly arrested and placed on a $2 million bond. In 2017, a jury found him not guilty, but on August 21st, 2023, Kokenhauer passed away unexpectedly.
But easily one of the most macabre and hair-raising cases of a dead body being mistaken for a Halloween decoration came on October the 9th, 2023, in the small, humble town of China Grove, North Carolina, located in the western part of the state and just north of the city of Charlotte. On October 9th, 2023, a groundskeeper had decided to mow the lawn of an abandoned house that only had the lights on. While nobody lived in the house, it had been used for routine canine training for years. As the groundskeeper mowed the front lawn, he was not surprised to see what looked like a mannequin with scratch marks on it on the grass, as similar mannequins used for canine training had been seen in the area before, and that the Halloween season was well underway, indicating to the groundskeeper that the mannequin, wearing only socks and underwear, may have been a Halloween prop. As a result, though mowing the lawn, he carefully mowed around the body, never realizing that the supposed mannequin was actually the body of a 34-year-old man named Robert Paul Owens, only found by another worker, who arrived to the lawn a day after the groundskeeper had mowed. Bizarrely, contradicting findings have surrounded the circumstances of Owens's passing. According to the police, there was no foul play whatsoever in his death, as well as no signs of any fighting. And regarding the findings inside the toxicological report regarding Owens's body, his history of drug abuse was instrumental in the cause of his passing. But a construction worker who was on the property at the time of the crime scene investigation said that Owens had cuts and scrapes on his arms, indicative of defensive wounds. The verdict reached by the authorities has also left Owens's family unconvinced. In the words of his sister, "He had just gotten my son a jacket, and he didn't even have a chance to give it to him. We want answers." Even outside of Halloween, stories of dead bodies being mistaken for props can be found all throughout history, with easily the most notable example being that of the mummified corpse of Old West outlaw Elmer McCurdy. Just 2 weeks before Christmas in 1976, during the filming of an episode for the hit TV series The $6 Million Man, a crew member on set had decided to move one of the props, a mummified dummy display, but in doing so had caused one of its arms to fall off. Upon further examination, the crew member saw what appeared to be human bones inside the severed arm. Days later, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office confirmed that the dummy was a real human corpse belonging to Elmer McCurdy, an outlaw who committed crimes across the Old West, who had killed 55 years before, largely leading an unsuccessful career as a criminal where he would continually botch bank and train robberies. McCurdy's life in crime ground to a halt after 3 sheriffs gunned him down after an ill-fated train robbery attempt. Soon, McCurdy's body went unclaimed at a funeral home, and since no money would be made from the services surrounding his body, the funeral home owner decided to display McCurdy's preserved corpse for potential clients and customers to view for 5 cents each. Years later, a traveling carnival acquired the corpse, allowing it to travel across the country and entertain audiences for decades before finally being discovered on a television set as a real human corpse. Overall, the urban legend of the dead body getting mistaken for a Halloween decoration is a very real one, as proven time and time again by unfortunate cases that seem to be happening every year. What makes these stories so fascinating, apart from the investigations that were held and the findings surrounding their passings, is the Halloween factor in all of such cases. The factor that blends each of the cases as one. When you think about it, Halloween is the only time of year when seeing what looks like a dead body lying on the ground would be viewed as normal, in the same way that people dressing up in elaborate and distinct costumes would be seen as normal. Nobody would be batting an eye during the Halloween season. They would simply be minding their own business, as Halloween is what makes both examples normal. During any other time of year, though, people would raise both eyebrows and questions if they were to see what appears to be a dead body lying in a front yard, or on a balcony, or, frankly, anywhere. It would simply be too out of place, but not during the Halloween season.
Cases of dead bodies getting mistaken for Halloween decorations have become a macabre staple of the Halloween season since the 2005 Frederica case. But the next time you come across yards with Halloween decorations, be sure to look closer, as what you see may not be what you think. Now, the urban legend of the dead body getting mistaken for a Halloween decoration is not the only urban legend that actually turned out to be true. Plenty other urban legends have actually turned out to be true as well. And for that, stay tuned.